Hi, today we're going to look at integers, adding and subtracting them. Now, a lot of these problems look very similar with pluses and minuses and varying different spots. We're going to look at two main different types of problems, and then we're going to put them together as one over here. So first, one type of problem that you might see is where you're going to have a number, an operation, or two operations next to each other, then another number. I want to simplify the operations. I want to make sure that there's only just one symbol in here. When I have a plus or plus, we're going to simplify that down just to a plus sign. So we can now read this 6 plus 2 equals 8. When you have two minus signs again also make a plus sign, giving us the same answer. Now, if you happen to have a plus and a minus right next to each other, we're going to simplify that down to a minus sign, a subtraction symbol. 6 minus 2, giving us 4 and 4. It is another thing that we may come across in algebra class. Sometimes the second number might be in parentheses, sometimes it might not be, doesn't matter. Okay, that's when your signs are next to each other. What if they're split apart? Well, up top, 7 plus 4. We've been doing this for forever now. 7 and 4 gives us 11. Congrats, nothing's new there. 7 minus 4, no big deal, same stuff. Once we get to this third one, now it's a little weird. I have 4, I have 7. Okay, if we're stuck here, I want to come back to these problems. Now, this 7 is a positive number. The 7 up top, positive. How do we know? There's no sign otherwise. When you have your symbols and they're split, and they're both positive, I want to just add my two numbers together and I get a positive answer. When my numbers are different now, that says positive 7, that says negative 4, but when I put it together, 7 minus 4. Negative and subtraction mean the same thing. When they're opposite, one positive, one negative, I want to subtract it in the easiest way possible. So 7 minus 4 gives you 3. My final answer will be the sign of the larger number, in this case, 7. But again, we don't need to show that the positive. These, we have a positive 4 and a negative 7. They're opposite signs. Let's find the easiest subtraction problem possible. 7 minus 4. It gives us 3. But this time, which number is the largest? 7. We want to keep that symbol as our answer, negative. So our answer is now negative 3. I have negative 4 and negative 7. Because they are both the same, I want to add these two numbers up regularly. 7 plus 4, or 4 plus 7, and get 11. I keep the sign because they're both the same. It's like we're adding in the negative world. And whether or not it says 4 then 7 or 7 then 4, as long as they're both negative, my answer is negative, and I just add those two numbers. So, same signs, add them, keep the answer. If they're different signs, positive, negative, subtract, keep the sign of the larger number. And again, you don't need that plus sign. Okay, can we combine both of these in our regular problems? Okay, so positive and negative, when they're next to each other, they're different. That means minus sign. Negative 5 minus 2 gives us negative 7. When they're the same sign, you keep it, add the numbers. Plus and a minus gives me a negative, but now I'm saying 5 minus 2, they're different. Positive, negative, subtract, gives us 3. You keep the sign of the larger. 5's biggest, your answer is a positive. Negative, negative on the inside, make a plus sign. 5 minus, different signs now. One's negative, one's positive. Subtract, 5 and 2 gives us 3. Keep the sign of the larger number, which is 5, gives you negative. Okay, now what about this atrocity? Well, it's really a simplified problem. We just need to make it look a little nicer. We have a negative, negative. Two negatives next to each other, make a plus sign. Two negatives, make a plus sign. If I have a positive and a positive next to each other, that's still a plus sign, like in the very, very first one up here. If I have, so that's a positive and a negative next to each other, well, that gives us a minus sign. So if I were to relook at this, I have positive 2, minus 3. I don't even need that plus sign there. I know that they're different signs, so I want to subtract 3 and 2 gives us 1. Keep the sign of the larger number. 3 is biggest. I keep that minus sign. And that is adding and subtracting integers.